You know that feeling? You open a new box of medicine and out comes this giant folded piece of paper with tiny, tiny print listing a dozen different side effects. It really makes you stop and think, how can they be so sure this is actually safe for me to take? Well, it turns out there's an incredibly detailed safety blueprint for every single drug out there, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. All right, so to really get this, we first have to start with the fundamental challenge itself. The truth is, every single effective medicine carries some level of risk. There's just no getting around it. And that's the big question, right? We're taking these things to feel better, but they all come with this long list of warnings. So what's the system behind the scenes? Who decides that the benefits are actually worth the potential risks? How is that balance struck? At its very core, it all boils down to this simple but absolutely critical balancing act. On one side of the scale, you've got the benefits, the whole reason the medicine was created in the first place. And on the other side, you have the potential risks. The entire field of drug safety is built around managing this scale.
So, how do they manage it? Well, the answer lies in a powerful document called the Risk Management Plan, or RMP for short. You can think of it as the master safety blueprint for any medicine.
Now, the key phrase here is entire life cycle. This isn't some report that gets written once and then filed away. Oh no, the RMP is there from the very beginning, from the earliest lab tests all the way through approval, and for every single day that medicine is available on the market. It's a constant, continuous process. And what's the ultimate goal of all this work? It's beautifully simple. The whole plan, all the research, all the monitoring, it exists for one reason: to make sure that for any patient, that scale is always, always tipped heavily in favor of the benefits. It's the core promise of modern medicine, written down.
Okay, so that's the what and the why. But how does an RMP actually do this? Well, it's all built on three core pillars, three main jobs that keep a medicine safe.
The process is actually super logical when you lay it out. First, you have to understand every possible danger. Then, you create a plan to actively reduce those dangers. And finally, you just keep watching. You monitor that drug constantly, forever. Let's break each of those down. So step one is all about deep knowledge. This is where scientists and doctors create something called a safety profile. Honestly, you can think of it like a complete biography of the medicine, but one that's laser focused on every single known and even suspected safety issue. And inside that safety profile, they make a really important distinction. You have your known risks. These are the side effects that have been confirmed with hard data from clinical trials. But then you have potential risks, and these are just as crucial. These are the whispers, the suspected issues, the things that need more investigation. The RMP tracks both of them like a hawk. Right, so once you understand the risks, the second pillar kicks in. You have to actively minimize them. And this isn't just theory, it's about creating real, practical tools. We're talking about things like making sure those package inserts are as clear as possible, creating educational materials for doctors and pharmacists, and sometimes even making specific safety guides for patients. And the third pillar is the forever job, ongoing safety monitoring. There's a fancy term for it, pharmacovigilance, but you can just think of it as being a perpetual safety watchdog. The work is never, ever done, because new information can pop up at any time, sometimes even years after a drug first hits the market. And that brings us to maybe the most important idea about this whole safety blueprint. It is not some static document that gets put on a shelf to collect dust. It's alive. An RMP is what's known as a living document. That means anytime new safety information comes to light, whether it's from a big new study or from individual reports from doctors and patients in the real world, the plan is immediately reviewed and updated. It's a continuous feedback loop of learning, adapting, and improving. So, let's pull all of this together. Why does this technical-sounding document actually matter to you and me? Well, because it has a huge direct impact on the quality and safety of the healthcare we all receive. When you really think about it, these RMPs are the bedrock of our trust in medicine. They give doctors the information they need to prescribe things safely. They make sure everyone, drug makers, regulators, the public, is on the same page. And looking to the future, they're absolutely essential for personalized medicine. By tracking how a drug affects different people, we can start to tailor treatment safely, just for them. And that kind of leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As we march into this new era of medicine, with treatments designed for our unique genetic code, how are these safety blueprints going to evolve?
The challenge soon won't just be about protecting the public as a whole, but about protecting each and every one of us as individuals.